Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Employer Branding Globally. And today we have a special guest with us, Anna Kalinowska-Ladawi, or how do you pronounce that, Anya?
Ladui.
Ladui. Okay. She's an international HR specialist, and she agreed to talk about employer branding with us today. Anya, can you tell some words about yourself, about your experience?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Małgosia. Thank you for inviting me. Yes, and I am saying good morning from Tallinn, Estonia, where I am based. We have also beautiful weather. So yes, I am in my job as an HR specialist expert. Right now, I call myself rather senior international HR expert. More than 25 years, and I work with many international companies. And currently, I support startups in Estonia that operate in digital environment with everything related to HR, and employer branding is one of the most important topic nowadays. Why? Because we still have very competitive market in terms of specialist expert available on the job market. So everybody is trying to attract and sell their own company and their own offer to candidates, but also to keep people that are already working in the company. So I would say employer branding has two dimensions, internal and external, and both are so important nowadays. It's a very hot topic. And, you know, with any news, the first message count in this like news world or journalist world. So even if your first message is not the right one, it's very difficult to correct that. So that's why this PR elements are entering to employer branding techniques and word.
Okay, so would you say that employer branding for startups, is it a must or nice to have?
It's a must, definitely. It's must. And why? Startups, they have idea, they have investment, and they start going to their potential customer and selling company. But in the same time, so that's marketing, we can say. But at the same time, they need to attract their people, their future employees. And sometimes they start with very different level of position. You know, very often they need top level of position, very experienced people, but also they need people with more junior, with less experience. So they need to have message prepared to both kind of categories of future employees. And the message is to the candidate, it's what they offer. Mm-hmm. And I would say in this digital environment and tech sector, what counts the most, of course, the salary is important and should be in the market. But I would say, especially for young people, is possibility to learn. And the more we talk about this learning culture within different organization, and the company needs to be prepared to redesign the jobs, to reinvent people profession and help them in this journey, because the world and the changes right now in the business are so fast. The world is going so fast. The changes we thought maybe 5 years ago, the changes are something we need to get used to it and cannot be faster. And right now it's even faster and faster. So the companies, they should be ready to propose to the people that they want to attract, especially those having 2-3 years experience or just graduates, a learning program and very good training, allowing them to advance and take the next level position. So basically from the moment when a candidate is becoming employee, the HR should think, okay, how to keep this employee engaged and how to keep this employee with us for more than 1 year, more than 2 years. Because people get many job offers. Once they get certain experience, 2-3 years, they are becoming very attractive candidates on the job market.
I agree. So the major investment on the employer part comes in those first 2-3 years. They train someone, and this person's value on the market is much higher. And if they don't have enough incentive, enough bond with this employer, they will go somewhere else. And you also mentioned communications, yes, how to communicate. But then, of course, you said the organizations themselves, they need to change their values and become like learning organizations. So in this way, somebody mentioned that employer branding, it's all about the culture, the values, yes, inside and how we project it outside to attract the right candidates and stay with the company. Do you agree?
Yes, I fully agree, Gosia. Very good statement. And what differentiates one company from another company offering more or less the same product or services? What differentiates its culture, right? So many companies, they try to build their set of values, what's important for us, what differentiates us from another company, and why should you join our company instead of going to our competitor, right? So it's not an easy process, but once the company, the owner, let's say the people that are at the leadership level, CEO and people reporting to him, they decide what's important for us, what kind of company we want to build in terms of product, vision, mission. Okay, and then they need to have this kind of homework. What's important for us in terms of values? Mm-hmm. And then once they define it, then of course, that's a very important topic to promote these values and to describe the culture to candidates and both employees internally, right? That they understand what kind of organization we are joining and why values are so important, because people have also their own set of values. And when there is mismatch, there is high probability that this person will not stay within this particular company. So from the recruitment moment, HR people, like talent acquisition specialists, they should be able to check, will this person suit to our culture, to our organization? And will this person will be able to adapt to our values? So these are very, very, very important topics. And values, it's like another important theme for HR community and chief people officer, how to implement values in the company. And values should be implemented not on the kind of, abstract level, but should be communicated to the employees, should be part of the performance management process. People should be also asked how they perceive the values. So employee engagement survey or employee experience surveys are very useful to get this feedback from the employees, what they think about the company culture and values.
Actually, in my first article, Who is Afraid of Employer Branding, when I went and did the workshop with the Polish company owned by an international parent, they were doing all these things. And they were doing the surveys, but the surveys were prepared in the company's headquarters, and I could see a big mismatch between the values of the parent company and the values of the local company. Like some things seemed so abstract for the local HR professionals, and even heard a comment like, no, don't ask our employees about, like diversity, because they may scratch your car. This was like something so odd, but that's unfortunately that's Poland for you sometimes. But we do have a case. If the company is big and established and has been around for many years, they have it. They have this, I call it like a tank of values and culture, and they just like, rolling it out, okay, and see, okay, maybe some of it will get accepted. But going back, and this is my last question about startups, these companies are new. They didn't have time to develop all of this, all the culture, values, and they don't have a strong brand. Yes, if I say, okay, IBM or even Amazon is coming to Poland, everybody knows, right? But what about the startups? How do they make up this difference?
Yeah, actually, the process, of building a company didn't really change from the history we heard from Steve Jobs. It starts in a small office, in his case, small like place, garage close to his house. But usually it starts like that, 2-3 people, they connect, they have idea, they have different setup of skills, and they start thinking, okay, maybe there will be interest on the market. So they prepare business case, they sell this business case to the investor. There are a lot of investors interested in startups. It depends, of course, there are trends. I was recently in the conference dedicated to digital world in Estonia, because Estonia is the country number 3 in Europe in terms of number of startups per capita. And we were talking about like 3 trends right now. What is kind of like right now in the business that is really appealing to the investors? That's because number 1 is it's renewable sources of energy. Of course, that this trend is influenced because of what's happening right now with Russia and between Russia and Ukraine, and it has influences the economies of many countries. The second trend, everything related to health. So how digital solution can support the improvement in health, if people health, diagnosis, preventive actions, access to the doctors, everything like that. And the third trend, I would say, everything that can automate the activities due to artificial intelligence that we don't even think can be automated. So what can make our life easier, more comfortable, but also because we will miss labor force. Mm-hmm. So how to replace missing labor force, but automated solution. So that these are these 3 trends. And this, of course, startups, at the very early stage, they don't think about culture, branding, but once they start developing and growing, and it's very fast process, companies are able to double their headcount every year. And I have an example of the company I was working for, an American company, and within 10 years, they grew up from 1 person to 7,000 employees, and they are present in all worldwide regions, not only in North America, in California, San Francisco, which is kind of incubator still in the United States for a startup. So it's the growing is kind of challenge that the companies has to face, and they cannot grow without proper employer branding, because they need to promote their name, they need to make candidates familiar with their name, and they start like at the beginning with kind of like, I would say, obvious techniques that are available nowadays. So presence on LinkedIn, career page, but then step by step they start realizing, okay, that's not enough. We need to be different. We need to say something to candidates that will like create kind of fire, right? And that will they will catch up their eye on our offer and our company, and they will find something innovative, something different that others don't propose.